Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Hawksness here, back with another COD mobile video. Now, today we're actually going to be looking at the LMG class of weapons inside of Call of Duty Mobile. Now, I've actually already done this video for SMGs and ARs, so if you are looking for those weapons and finding out what the best ARs are and the best SMGs are, you guys can find those videos linked down below and then also in the card on the top right. But without further ado, let's go ahead and look a little bit more in depth at the LMGs within Call of Duty Mobile. Currently in COD Mobile, there's actually 4 LMGs, and that includes the S36, the UL736, the RPD, and the M4 LMG. When you analyze how good a fully automatic weapon is, one of the most important things you want to look at is its recoil. So I went ahead and recorded the recoil of all 4 LMGs 3 different times, and in this video I also included the recoil with a grip as opposed to before when I didn't do that. And this is because I wanted to see how a foregrip affects the LMG recoil. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and look at is the first 5 shots of each LMG. And as you can tell, the recoil for the M4 LMG and the UL736 are very sporadic. They go side to side a lot, and if you didn't know, the side to side recoil is the recoil that's very hard to control, as opposed to recoil that just goes straight up, because straight up recoil is very easy to compensate for. All you have to do is pull down. And as an example, if you look at the S36, you can tell it's pretty much just up. It does bounce side to side a little bit, but not nearly as much as the M4 LMG and the UL736. And then the RPD is kind of in the middle. It does have pretty good recoil. It doesn't go side to side too much. So obviously you're going to shoot more than the first 5 bullets at people sometimes. It'll take a little bit more if you miss a few shots. So the next thing we'll be looking at is the 10 shot spray patterns. Okay, so now we're looking at the 10 shot spray patterns, and as you can tell, the M4 LMG is brutal. It goes all over the place, and then the UL736 it's not as bad as the M4 LMG, I would say, but it's still very bad. It does go side to side quite a bit. And then the S36 is a laser, and the RPD is also pretty much a laser. It's a little bit worse than the S36, but still very good recoil. So now we're going to go to a 30 shot spray pattern. I'm not going to do higher than 30 shots just because it gets really kind of useless looking at anything after 30, because you're never going to consistently spray more than 30, or at least typically you won't. So here is the 30 shot spray patterns. And what you should take away from this is the M4 LMG does not go that high, but it is brutally bad side to side. It bounces kind of all over the place. The UL736 is also very bad. It has this really weird spike at about 15 or 20 bullets where it just goes really hard left or really hard right. It doesn't happen all the time because recoil is, random a little bit. It's not going to always be the exact same, but obviously you can tell it is way worse than like the S36 or the RPD. And then for the S36 and RPD, as you can tell, the S36 is amazing. The recoil is almost non-existent side to side and then just consistently goes upwards. And then the RPD is a little bit worse, but still not terrible. Now, if we go ahead and look at the recoil of each LMG with and without a grip, you're going to notice some key things. First, you're going to notice that the M4 LMG is probably the most heavily impacted by having a grip. The least impacted is the S36, and it actually appears that the grip doesn't affect the S36 at all. The recoil is basically the exact same with and without a grip. The RPD gets slightly affected, and then the UL736's vertical recoil gets affected, but it appears that its side-to-side recoil is not touched at all. It can still go side-to-side a ton, which really sucks. So overall, this all kind of makes sense. I think the thing I was most surprised about was that the S36 is not affected by a grip at all. So this basically means don't use a grip on the S36 ever, because it'll have absolutely no effect on the gun. Before we go on, I just want to give a huge shout out to our channel members, and especially CBK Killer, Boy Scout 77, and the level 9 million plus member Everchill YT. If you guys want to find out how to have your name featured in every single video, just press the join button down below or the membership link in the description. You gain a ton of really cool perks, and you directly support my channel and help me do videos just like this. So anyway, let's go on with the video. And then the next thing we want to look at is the magazine size and the reload speed of each gun. And as you can tell, the RPD has 100 rounds in the magazine, and then all the other LMGs are tied at 75. And then for the reload speed, the S36 and the M4 LMG have a reload speed of 4, the UL736 has a reload speed of 4.2, and then the RPD has the slowest reload speed of 5.5 seconds. And now what you're looking at is the movement speed that your character has when they're actually holding the weapon. And as you can tell, the UL736 is by far the fastest at 5.6 meters per second, and then the slowest is the S36 at 5.25, but the M4 LMG and the RPD are very close at 5.28 meters per second. And just for perspective, the slowest AR is the M16 at 5.74 meters per second, and the fastest AR is the M4 in the Type 25 at 6.2 meters per second. If you were to walk away from this video and only have learned one thing, I would say it'd be this: that the S36 actually has no bonus damage for hitting the head. So basically what I mean by this is that when you shoot someone in the head, you're going to do extra damage as opposed to what you would have done by hitting the body. And most guns typically are a 1.2 or 1.1 multiplier. So basically what I mean by this is if you shoot someone in the body and do 10 damage, and then the gun has a 1.2 headshot multiplier, and you shoot them in the head, you're gonna do 12 damage. But as you can see on the screen, the S36 actually has no headshot multiplier, so you will actually do no bonus damage by hitting them in the head, which is absolutely insane. Now, obviously, we've covered a couple different important things when comparing LMGs, but now we're going to be comparing something that's super important when looking at how guns perform. And that will be the damage, the bullets per second, and the damage per second of the LMGs. Now, I also will be talking about time to kill right after this, but these three stats are pretty important to just get a good understanding of how the guns perform. Now, the first stat is basically the damage of the guns, and just to let you guys know, LMGs do the exact same amount of damage if you hit them in the hands, the legs, the feet, the body, the toes, whatever it is. Unless it's the head, the gun will do the exact same amount of damage. And you can see how much damage that is on your screen right now, and the M4 LMG will do 31 damage, and then all the way down to the UL736, which does 25 damage. I do want to note that this is also the CQB damage, so basically how much damage you're going to do really close. We will talk about farther range soon, but this is basically how much damage the gun will do up close. And then the BPS is the bullets per second, and you can see the S36 is by far the highest at 12.32, and then all the way down to the M4 LMG at 9. And just for perspective on how slow the M4 LMG is, it has a bullets per second of 9, and another gun that's very similar to that is the AK-47 at 9.13. And then the S36 at 12.32 is just below the AK-117, which is 12.76 bullets per second. And then when you multiply these two values together, you're going to get the damage per second rating of each gun. And the highest is obviously the S36, and the lowest is the UL736. And for perspective, the UL736's damage per second is 256. And a very similar gun to that is the M4, which has a damage per second of 254. And then the damage per second on the S36 is 333, which is actually a tad bit higher than the Type 25, which is 331. Now, just to let you guys know, after I've made a video on each class of weapons, I will do a final video covering all of the weapons combined, so I'll let you guys know exactly what the best guns are, just stuff like that. I'll do an entire video covering that, but for now, we're only covering LMGs, so those comparisons are just to kind of give you guys some perspective. Okay, so now let's go ahead and break down time to kill. So basically what time to kill is how long it takes to kill someone if you hit every single shot. And this doesn't include headshots as well. This is only if you're hitting the legs, arms, or body. So on your screen right now, what you're seeing is the time to kill for CQB. So if you're within 5 meters of someone, and then at a 60-meter distance, you're going to see the time to kill over there as well. So as you can tell for CQB, the time to kill for the S36 is 0.24, and then the lowest is the M4 LMG at 0.33. And just for perspective, the AK-47 also has a time to kill of 0.33 seconds. And then the time to kill for the S36 of 0.24 is nearly identical as the PDW and the Type 25's time to kill. The Type 25 is 0.23 and the PDW is 0.24 as well. And then if we look at a distance of 60 meters for the time to kill, we're going to see the RPD at 0.37 and the UL736 at 0.49. And this time to kill of the RPD is actually faster than every single AR. The closest AR is the Type 25 at 0.38 seconds, so obviously it's super close, but still the RPD at this range is going to kill faster than any other AR, assuming you hit every single shot. And then the next step is 0.41, which the closest AR would be the AK-117, which is 0.39. And then the M4 LMG at 0.44 and the UL736 at 0.49, and 0.49 is very similar to the M4. Or even the ICR. And the ICR is 0.51 and the M4 is 0.47. And the LK24 is also 0.47. So just by looking at this, you can tell that the best close range would be the S36 and the best far range would be the RPD, but both of those are in the top 2 for each side. And surprisingly enough, those guns are also the lowest recoil. So far you should kind of be seeing a trend of the best 2 LMGs. But let's go ahead and break down the range a little bit more. Okay, so before you get confused, this is actually a very, very simple to understand graphic, and I'm going to go ahead and break it down. And within a minute or two, you'll know exactly what this means, and it'll be some really cool information. So before I go on, I just want to say that the data here actually is courtesy of Mario Ray on Reddit, so thank you to Mario Ray. All I did basically was take his data and put it into a graph format, and then also adjust some of the time to kills to what I had. The data that he had was almost perfect. I just barely changed like 1 or 2 of them, like very small changes. But basically what this is the time to kill for every range for the gun. So let's just go ahead and look at the M4 LMG for a second. So basically what you're seeing is up to 20 meters. So as you can see, the green line goes up to 20 meters. The gun will kill in 0.33 seconds. And then from 20 meters all the way up to as far as you want to go, it'll kill in 0.44 seconds. And then the RPD is going to be basically the exact same thing, but a little bit changed on where the distance changes and all that. And then if you look at the UL736 and the S36, you're going to tell that there's actually 3 different changes. So for the UL736, it's 0.29, 0.39, 0.49, and then the S36, 0.24, 0.32, and then 0.41. So now let's go ahead and look at the ranges and see what the best guns are for each range. So the first range we're going to break down is 0 to 16 meters. And from 0 to 16 meters, the best LMG is going to be the S36 on the far right with a time to kill of 0.24. And then the worst is the M4 LMG, or the RPD at anywhere from 10 to 16 meters can actually kill in 0.37 seconds. So the RPD is actually decent up close, but then right at about 10 meters, it falls off super hard and isn't good for a while. So that's one of the things I want you to keep in mind about the RPD. Okay, and then from 16 meters to 26 meters, the fastest killing LMG is going to be the UL736. Now, I do want you to keep in mind that the recoil on that gun is awful, so take this with a grain of salt, but the technically fastest killing LMG at 16 to 26 meters is going to be the UL736. So that's that for 16 to 26, and then if we go ahead and now switch over to a distance of 26 meters to 41 meters, you're going to see that the fastest to kill LMG is the S36 once again. So this will be kind of the middle range. It's actually pretty far, but based on the graph we're looking at, this is about the mid-range. And as you can tell, it's actually quite a bit faster than basically all of the other ARs. It's way faster than the M4 LMG, and then it's a decent amount faster than the RPD and the UL736. And once again, this is 26 to 41 meters. And then our final range will be anywhere from 41 meters and above, or 42 meters, I guess, right around there. And you're going to see that the fastest LMG to kill is going to be the RPD at 0.37, and then the next fastest will either be the UL736 at anywhere from, I think, 41 to 55, right around there. And then also the S36 consistently will be at 0.41. So at this range, technically speaking, the RPD will be the best, and it is also a gun with very good recoil. So at this kind of range, the RPD will definitely reign supreme. But also the S36 is a very, very close contender. I also want to point out that the RPD, even though it has a higher headshot multiplier, if you hit every single shot as a headshot, it would still take 5 shots to kill, which would mean that the time to kill is still 0.37. So even though it has a higher headshot multiplier, at this range, that headshot multiplier means absolutely nothing if the person is full HP. And then obviously, since the S36 has no headshot multiplier, that will be the exact same at this range too. So the headshot multiplier doesn't really make a difference at this super far range in terms of the RPD, and then obviously the S36. So essentially, in conclusion, the best close range LMG is going to be the S36. The best mid range is going to be the UL, kind of. I wouldn't actually say it's the best, but it has the fastest time to kill. Best like mid range would be the S36 based on the recoil plus the time to kill. And then the best far range is the RPD, with the S36 not far behind. Also, the person that got all this information also discovered a couple things, and I'll just really quickly read off what he discovered. He noticed that for the RPD, the silencer and the tac scope had no effect on the range. He also noticed that the tactical scope on the S36 increased the range by quite a bit, and you should be able to see on your screen how much it increased it. But the S36 is already a pretty far range weapon, but that tactical scope will kind of give it a little bit of a buff in terms of its range. He also noticed that the silencer and the tac scope had no effect on the UL736, and then he noticed that the silencer actually nerfed the range of the M4 LMG. Okay, so that is it with all of the information that I have for you guys in this video. So basically, my final conclusion is that the best LMG is the S36. That is the best LMG all around. The next best would be the RPD, and this is only really good at farther ranges. So if you're a player that likes to sit back, this could definitely be your gun, especially considering it has such a big magazine. You can spray a lot. It obviously has that really long reload speed, so I might recommend putting on a fast mag on it. I would also recommend putting on a grip, just because, as you saw, it does help the recoil a decent amount. If you are running the S36, don't run a grip on that. The S36 is a very slow moving weapon, so if you'd like to use lightweight, that could definitely help you in just running a little bit faster. A stock is also a great option considering the slow movement speed. And also, quick draw is going to be a very good attachment to add on all of these guns, because LMGs just take a long time to scope in. So honestly, my favorite class probably would be a S36 with like an FMJ, a fast mag, and then a quick draw, and then also having lightweight so I can run around a little bit quicker. That would be my ideal LMG class, but obviously it's kind of up to you and your own playstyle. So once again, thank you to the channel members for supporting. If you guys do want to join as a channel member and have your name on the screen, you can see how to on the screen right now. But special thanks to CBK Killer, Boy Scout 77, and especially Everchill with the massive level 9,000 plus membership. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I kind of helped you guys out, and definitely subscribe and drop a like if you did enjoy, and I will see you guys later. Peace.